Hey, so this is now going to be a part two because I'm so not with it today that I pressed stop instead of pause. So I'm really quite annoyed with myself. So, like I was saying, Dracula by Universal Monsters is a must read. Perfect art, perfect story. They mesh so perfectly together. I would give this a 10 out of 10. So I'm really annoyed with myself now, but I can't. There's just too much I've done to go back and do it fresh. So next up, there's part of the Unnamed Universe, which is the new range of universe created by Jeff Johns. Well, it's not the new one, but it's going to be part of Ghost Machine, where there's all these other talents. What he's bringing on for next year, and this is further stories in the Geiger universe. This is Geiger Ground Zero. It's a two-issue series. Gary Frank's on it again, and this goes into the origin of Geiger, how he came to be, and it's brilliant. Beautiful art, great story. Jeff Johns is doing his best work with this unnamed universe. He's without the shackles of having to be faithful to comic lore history of other comic companies. His imagination is just running riot, and he's all the better for it. This is a fantastic comic. The what I love about this, and again with Kill Your Darlings, what I reviewed in the first part of this review of Overhaul, look at comics, whatever, is that it's on a cardstock cover with very high quality paper inside. So yeah, $3.99, really good comic, 8.5 out of 10. And another comic that I've been raving about ever since it came out, Enfield Gang Massacre, and this is number 4. It's so refreshing to have a Western comic. The last time I missed the whole Jonah Hex ones by Jimmy Palmiotti, because that's when I really cut down what I was reading in comics, because I was just not a good period of my life. So the only Western comics I had before that was the Jonah Hex ones by Joe Lansdale and Tim Truman, and this is up there with those. It's a fantastic Western. I love how it's done on classic old school comic paper. It's got old school Western adverts inside as well, and it's great. It's like you're reading a Sam Peckinpah film, Western in a comic. Beautiful, beautiful artwork by Jacob Phillips, and Chris Condon's just a really good writer. It's got very loose links to Texas Blood. It's set in the same area, but this is years and years and years before that series. So if you've not followed that Texas Blood, it doesn't matter. You can still read this and get a lot from it. 10 out of 10. Love it. And then this one moves the plot along quite a bit. And this is Tenement number 6 by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. Gorgeous art. I love Sorrentino's artwork, but at the same time, I get distracted because I'm trying to work out how's he done it. Does he actually draw it, or is it photographs? Is it computer manipulation? What does he do? And so, because I'm trying to work out how he does his images, it, in some ways, makes me not enjoy his art, if that makes sense. The artwork's gorgeous, it's stunning, but I'm just too in my head trying to work out his process. But he's great. He's fun. This is the best one in the Bone Orchard Mythos, or whatever it's called. This is the best series they brought out so far within that universe, and there's 4 more issues to go. And this does move the story on a lot. Very, very dreamlike though, very trippy. But yeah, it's making much more sense now. And 9 out of 10. Oh, and there's no ads in it. It's 32 pages of story for $3.99, which is another bonus. And then we've got Catwoman, number 59. Not a lot of people really talk about Catwoman, but I love it. I think Tina Howard's doing a really good job on it. What I like about this one, there's a new artist on it, and it's bear with Stefano Raphael, and he's got a very brushy art style, almost like a Paul Pope style. So it's completely different to the last artist who was on Catwoman, and I think it works so much better. It gives it much more a feeling like speed and almost like feline qualities, if that makes sense. Much more suited to Cat, because I thought the other one, the last artist before this, was very staticky. Not much movement or freedom of movement in the art style, which for Catwoman it's all about grace and being very life and acrobatic, athletic. It just didn't convey that kind of feeling, but this does. It's very kinetic in its art style. And there's quite an interesting twist in this story about Catwoman herself. Something's happened to her, so it brings almost like this mystical element to it, but not in a cloying, cliched way. It works very well because it couldn't happen to anybody else but Catwoman. And but I don't want to say what it is because you need to read it to find out. So I'd give this a 7.5 out of 10. It's good. It's really good. I'm carrying on with it. And this got slated in Pop Culture Philosophers by Robbie. But I'm going to give this, before I even go into the review, I'm going to give this a solid 8.59 out of 10. It was great. Gorgeous artwork by Daniel Sampere. And yeah, a lot of it is just set getting into somebody's office, into Sarge Steele's office. But so what? I mean, Die Hard was just set in a big built tower block for 2 hours, but we didn't care. It doesn't mean it's boring. There's loads of action in it. And why not? Why not do an issue where it's like that? You can do it in a film, you can do it in a TV series, so why not? I was not bored one bit. The dialogue was great. I really enjoyed it. The backup story was fun. I know some people have commented about Tom King and his use of like hieroglyphics for swear words. I like it. It made me laugh. It made me giggle, especially in the backup story because it was Tom King doesn't normally have the opportunity to do more of a humorous story, and I was giggling at that story. I loved it. I'd like to see him do a Damien and John Kent comic. He's got their voices great. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, 8.5 or 9 out of 10 even. Solid comic. Really enjoying Wonder Woman. But another comic that could be one of my comics of the year, and it's an anthology series. Harley Quinn, Black, White and Redder. The quality does not let up with this issue. The first part of this, there's 3 stories in, so 10 pages each, 30 story pages. There's art panels in as well, and it's cardstock cover, and it's only $4.99. Really good value. But the first story, the artwork's by, and this story concept is by Bilquis, who did Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and it's a really interesting mythological kind of story, almost like the Dark Knights of Steel kind of thing, where it's got like very heavy fantasy elements, and it's wonderful. Very dark though. Very, very dark. I was like, oh. And then it jumps to more like classic old school Harley, where she's a complete psychopath in the next story. And then the one after that is more almost like a manga kind of one. So yeah, each story is completely different and totally very different. But yeah, a definite 9 out of 10. Really enjoyable. One of my favourite miniseries of this year. And then we have Green Lantern War Journal, issue 3 by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Montos on the artwork. The artwork is gorgeous. I've said it before, it's got that scratchy element of Bill Sienkiewicz, or Sienkiewicz, I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Somebody tell me, because I'm sure I'm butchering his name. And almost a touch of old school Neil Adams in some panels as well, which is what Bill used to do before he got his more abstract style. But this is my favourite Green Lantern comic. I know some people have been saying, oh, why can't it be in space? I think that will come in a weird kind of way. They like bringing the space to Earth with some of the characters, and there's some interesting new characters in, but they're not new, they're old characters, but new incarnations of certain characters. And I'm enjoying this so much. It's much more grounded and earthy feeling. By earthy I don't mean because it's on Earth, but you can feel the grit in the storyline, and yeah, you can tell Philip Kennedy Johnson's war experience helps with this story because it doesn't feel ridiculous. Yeah, it's my favourite Green Lantern comic at the moment, so 9 out of 10. And then we have issue 8 of Superman Chained. I love that cover. That cover is so dramatic, very old school. So Josh Williamson, so it's Legacy issue number 851. The main artist is Melnikov, and he's got I love his art style. So different to Jamal Campbell, but really nice in his own way. It kind of like straddles the old school Superman and the modern iteration of Superman. And I love how he draws Lex Luthor and the main villain as well, the Chain. It's almost got like a Chris Bacalo kind of feel to it. But yeah, this story progresses so much, and the ending, how he fights the Chain, how Superman fights the Chain, is like, whoa. It could have quite serious ramifications on Superman himself. Yeah, it was a delight. I just breezed through this comic. I absolutely adore it. 9 out of 10. DC are slaying it this year. Talk about slaying it for DC. World's Finest, number 21, by the brilliant team of Mark Waid and Dan Mora. Dan Mora's artwork just gets better and better, and he does 2 comics a month. And yet some Marvel artists can't even do a monthly comic, so there we go. So yeah, this is going back to the Kingdom Come universe. So Boy Thunder, from a few story arcs beforehand, he's now in this universe, and he could be a major villain. But I know Pop Culture Philosopher and Films have revealed who it is, but I don't want to. So if you don't watch them, let them. If you do watch them, let them spoil it for you. But I don't want to. I want you to read this. It is great. It's so fun, and you don't really need to read the other story arcs. It's quite. You can get on if you can jump on it onto it from the issue before, and really enjoy the story. So if you're a fan of the whole Kingdom Come universe, I think you really like geek out on this, and it's it's just great. There's so many. Well, it's Mark Waid tribute. I was doing like fan service to his own stories from the past. Yeah, it's pure superhero fun, but with elements of there's a deeper element to it as well. So again, 9 out of 10. DC, let me at least criticise you a bit. I might be able to do with this next one. Next up is Titans number 5. I do like that cover. So this kind of ties up the storyline for what's been the past 5 issues. It's got like an Invasion of Body Snatchers kind of feel to it, and it kind of like is planting the seeds for the next big story, which is Beast World. But I don't know. It feels like a lot's happened and a lot's not happened. So I don't know. But I like the Titans, and it's not a badly written comics. It's really nicely illustrated, but it's just a spark missing, I feel, from it. So I'd give this a 6.57 out of 10 for art and story, and of course, like I said, next it's going to be that huge Beast World thing next time. So I'll try the first Beast World comic and the Titans number 6, which ties into it, and then decide. Because I really don't know. Like I said, it's not bad, but it's just very. For me, it just feels very mid. I feel like it could have more to it, but there we go. And then one that I forgot about, because there's been gaps in there's been lots of delays in it coming out, and then there's a special which kind of like disrupted the flow of it, is Nightmare Country, The Glass House number 5, and I was able to get this really cheap as well because there was a special offer on. I love that cover. I don't know with this. I think maybe because of the gap, because there's a Thessaly special in between, I think, issue 3 and issue 4 of this. It disrupted it. It disrupted the flow. So I was thinking, what's going on here? I had to like try and remember what was going on. I enjoyed the first story, the first miniseries was out, but this one I'm not enjoying as much. It almost feels more like a pastiche of a gaming comic more than James Tynion bringing something new to it. And I normally like James Tynion, but this is like the James Tynion that annoys me when it's needlessly wordy and a bit pretentious. But there's only one more issue, so maybe it'll rein me in with the next issue. And I've got a feeling I might need to get it anyway because there's new Hellblaze coming out next year, so it might have links to that. But I'd give it a 6 out of 10. But one of my comics of the past few weeks, which I just adore, is Batman Offworld, by the first major DC work, because he did Scouts, but that was his own creation. His first major DC work for Jason Aaron, Batman Offworld, and Doug Mankey on the artwork. And Cunning, I think, is by David Barron. Gorgeous artwork. I mean, look at that cover. And the colouring inside is superlative as well. But what clinched it for me is Jason Aaron's writing. He gets Batman much more than Chip Zdarsky does, I feel. Because Chip Zdarsky's Batman could be interchangeable with any other character he's written. And I'm surprised by that. But yeah, I love this. Even though it's a science, and I don't like Batman in space, so it shows how much of a good one it is. Even though it's set in space, he's still giving Batman his um, street level attitude, because it's Batman in, I think it's like when he was a young Batman, about in his first 1 or 2 years of being Batman. So he's still kind of like learning things. He's got that young arrogance as well, and it's just great. Absolutely wonderful, and they keep on taking Mickey out of his costume as well, which is great. So, who knew it? Jason Owen has a fantastic sense of humour. There's about 4 or 5 panels in this when I just burst out laughing. Same kind of laughter I got when I used to read the Justice League comic by Keith Giffen and DeMatteis, and yeah, I couldn't recommend this highly enough. 10 out of 10. I'm definitely getting all of it. And then I got a comic that I forgot was around, because I've been getting the back issues of Superman, the new series, because I didn't carry on with it initially. So I got the annual, finishes off the kind of like puts like a coda on the Parasite storyline. Really nice artwork inside. This is what an annual should be. You're not just reading something that's forgettable. It ties in heavily into the story, gives a satisfying conclusion, and it's got gorgeous art from different artists who don't jar with each other, but they blend perfectly. So 8 out of 10, really good, really satisfying. And then talking about good comics, got Ram V Detective Comics with Sean Alexander, the one who does Philadelphia, on the main story, and then Dan Waters and Justin Wingard on the backup story. It's fantastic. This is my favourite Batman comic. Orpho's my favourite Batman mini. This is my favourite ongoing Batman comic. It's just gorgeous, and they ramp up the. This is more like a modern day Western in this issue. Catwoman's getting a team of people around to help her save Batman. It's just fun, because Ram V did Catwoman for years, so he knows Catwoman much more, I think, than Chip Zdarsky does. Yeah, great comic. 10 out of 10. And the backup is essential reading as well. And then we have to talk about Chip Zdarsky, his Batman one, with the new storyline, Mind Bomb, the Joker returns. I'm so over the Joker. So that doesn't help with my feeling of this comic. It's not badly written, the artwork is gorgeous, but I just don't like how he voices Batman. I don't like the whole Zeronar character, or whatever it's called. I feel like it's dragging for a bit. So 6 out of 10, but I will carry on. And then the conclusion to the Vigil, number 6. I adore this comic. This and the Unstoppable Doom Patrol have been two of my favourite team books of this past year. And the good news is, it says that they will return, so hooray! And the artwork in the past few issues by, don't let me butcher this, Dev Malia and Pramanik is gorgeous. It's got an almost Tom Mandrake feel, so it's very kinetic. Got a lot of speed and action lines to it, and yeah, it just ties up the first series perfectly. And that cover is so lovely, nice, very satisfying. But yeah, 9 out of 10. And then we have Green Lantern, number 5 by Jeremy Adams and Zamar Manico on the artwork. The artwork is gorgeous, and it's got a Sinister Sons backup, which is spinning off into its own series next year. But the story's okay. It's better than it has been, and it's but more so than War Journal, I'm fed up with, I don't like this one being on Earth. It should be in space. I don't like how Jeremy Adams writes Hal Jordan. I find him very unlikable. He's almost like a sex pest. It's very safe. It's very. I think this is why I didn't connect with Jeremy Adams on Flash. It all felt very safe. Like everything was wrapped in cotton wool. We can't do anything too shocking. It just needs a bit more of an edge, I think, to it. Like some people don't like. I think like Rock and Robbie doesn't like Tom King. I'm the same with Jeremy Adams. He's not a writer I gel with, but I'll give it a few more issues and see, because I like Green Lantern as a character, so it could pick up. We'll see, but I'll give that about 6 out of 10 for the story, 9 out of 10 for the artwork. Then we have issue 11. Look, that could be one of the covers of the week. Day Street number 11 by King and Jose Fones and Dave Stewart on colouring. yeah, this is, you can tell it's coming to a conclusion. This is what in the 70s was a series called First Issue Specials where they introduced all these characters. I think Kirby did most of them, but people like Warlord, the Blueskin Starman, etc. And that's what Marvel, Tom Kingston has dragged all these obscure characters from the 70s and a few who became bigger from it, like the New Gods, and created this almost like meta study on, I don't know, it's like a quest. But it's much more understandable, but you need to read the whole series to, even then, I think until we get the next issue, at least the final one, you won't get the full benefit of the story. But I'm enjoying the ride. I really am. And the artwork is gorgeous, so 8 out of 10. And then one which is just pure fun, and again, Dan Moore on the artwork. Gorgeous artwork in this one. I think this is one of his strongest ones he's done. Shazam number 5, Two Against the Gods. And Mary Marvel is back with this one. Very satisfying comic, because I think I got a bit bored with it initially, but it's picking up steam now. Mark Waid's doing a fantastic job with this, and this is pure fun. It's like the Blue Beetle comic where you just want something that's fun. It's like a palate cleanser from like more gritty comics. 9 out of 10. And then lastly, but not leastly, is Batman and Robin, issue number 3, by Williamson and Simone de Mayo. Simone de Mayo did the Boom comic, science fiction. I've forgotten what it's called now. Some people don't like their artwork, but I really do. It's especially with this issue. I think it comes together much more. It reads a lot better. But Josh Williamson is got a really good ear for dialogue between Bruce and Damian, and it's fun. It's quite an old school kind of Batman feel to it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's $4.99, but there is 24 pages, so I'm not too upset. And yeah, it's great. I mean, that cover's just lovely, and you could study it and see new things each time you look at it. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for that. So that's it. So as you can see, bloody load of DC comics, quite a bit of Image. Pardon me, but not a lot of Marvel, and I think that's going to be the case ongoing now, because Marvel they're just bland at the moment. They need to get some creativity. They need another Marvel Knights or something just to give it a kick up the arse. But there we go. So coming soon will be, in a few weeks' time, there'll be the new Christmas specials of 2000 AD and Judge Dredd magazine. My next thing I think will be the review of the Berserker series, hopefully next week. So speak to you soon. If I've got a voice, I'm losing my voice today. Okay, bye.